The real cautionary tale is how conspiracy literacy is replacing media literacy. That's what we're seeing unfold in this entire discourse, and how we're seeing Shrek being positioned as a convenient piece of media to project our collective psyche and the anxieties that inform it. We are in a cultural shift that is compelling us to examine our relationship to popular media as far as how it may have existed as programming or to condition us into a certain belief that aligns with systems of power. And it's not unfounded, it's not unjustified, especially if you're paying attention to headlines this week, last week, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 months ago. However, that instinct has a tendency, as I've mentioned in my last video, to overcompensate, to overreach, to overcorrect. Every day we get on our phones and we clock into these algorithms, presumably thinking that algorithms only exist in digital spaces. I would argue that we're always navigating algorithms. But we get into these algorithms that determine what we see. You access dating apps that decide and curate who you meet, how you meet them. Then you have these career selections that feel like they're from pre-approved tracks. And of course, we have beauty standards that are increasingly being marketed as empowerment. And it compels you to think, when someone looks at a piece of media like Shrek and they say, whoa, that's a cautionary tale when it comes to dating, when it comes to choice. What they're really expressing is the modern anxieties around, are our decisions really and truly our own? Or are we making choices within the confines of invisible constraints? And who engineered those constraints? Who benefits from those constraints? Again, not unfounded, not unjustified, but it does implore us to zoom out a little bit and to pay attention to the systems that are informing these interpretations. Some of this comment that I received about, oh, how come Shrek conveniently left in the happily ever after and yada yada yada. Like, Shrek is not a fairy tale. It is a satirical exploration of fairy tales, and it was created with the intention to bust the sort of like myth making that was consistent between the 1950s and the 1990s. And the intention was to parody that. So when we're looking at how there's a decline in irony literacy, and how this depicts the death of media literacy, and how we're now allowing that to inform our perception of parody as participation. We're looking at something that was designed to parody certain tropes as endorsing those tropes. That's conspiracy literacy replacing media literacy. Especially when you consider how like Shrek's arc is intentionally positioned to actively reject constrained choice. That's literally the whole idea of Shrek. This is such a layered conversation and I have so much pushback, but let's just start with this.